The real estate market here in Ocean City in the month of October has been a little bit strange and quiet. And in today's video, I'm going to take you through why it has changed, how that impacts what we should expect coming up, and what we can do about it to make not only good decisions, but find the best deals out there. So as of October 15th, mortgage rates are higher than they were in September. Inventory higher than it was in September and up 6% from the beginning of this month, which is totally normal. Again, I'll get to more of that context later in the video. But the short version is it's more of the same, right? Essentially, this is what we expected, and we are largely seeing exactly what we should have expected, with one notable exception, or actually two notable exceptions. Number one being the amount of new listings. We are continuing on the climb upwards. In October, we usually see less than we had in September. August really threw things off. But that aside, with what the trend looks like month over month, it's irrelevant. October is very, very high. We saw 55 new listings in the first half of the month, on pace for 110 new listings basically by the end of the month. That would put us well above even April of 2022, which is the last time we saw a exorbitant amount of listings. So it's phenomenal. If you're a buyer, if you're a seller, it's not exactly the best news. Now, pending sales has dropped. Now, again, October is usually a slowdown from what we have seen in September. That is unchanged. Now, where we land at the end of the month, are we going to see our normal decrease? Is it going to be a larger than normal decrease? Is it going to matter? How much is it going to mean? Remains to be seen. But where we stand on the 15th of October, we're on pace to see our slowest month, seeing the fewest number of homes going under contract that we've seen all year. Now, some perspective is definitely needed here, because when I say the lowest we've seen all year, the lowest we had was back in January, is 32 homes that went under contract. And the most we've seen this year is 64, which was an anomaly. Largely speaking, we're in the 40s and 50s. So again, if we are going to see in the mid 30s, like we are currently on pace for, that is a decrease that we may not have seen coming. We didn't really see coming to that extent. But again, if we're talking about somewhere between 5 and 10 fewer homes than we expected, that's really not a make or break, market breaking situation here. So again, I want to keep things in context for you. When we have the small sample sizes we have now, things can really get out of hand fast. I want to make sure we're looking at it appropriately. Very, very stable and actually slowly growing amount of properties that are closing on a monthly basis. So we are basically seeing what we saw last year, and I'll get you again some very, very good comparisons at the end of this video. But months of inventory, if you're looking for a single family home, it's continuing to rise, right? These homes are sitting. The inventory there, specifically in that sector, is growing. So I think there will be some good deals to be had. Prices, yeah, we did see a couple very high months. I think that's going to start trending back downward. Nothing extravagant. Again, I've been saying this for months, maybe even years now at this point. I think we should stay around the 1.6 to $1.7 million average price point when we're looking at median sale prices. We're heading back down there. Days on market still very stable. Condos extraordinarily stable, and I feel like a broken record again. Again, prices here extremely stable for condos, and that is the same case with inventory too. That's been very consistent in the condo market, which has kept all of this exactly where it has been. Now, the big change here, and again, I created this metric speed to be my red flag. This is looking at how many homes do we need to see hit the market, how many new listings to see one home go under contract. So the two variables there are listings, homes that went under contract. So we are above three for the first time in a very long time, and we've only seen two other months this high or around this high since 2019. So why is this happening? Twofold. Number one, again, new listings are way higher than we should have expected. And also, the amount of homes that have gone under contract are lower than we've expected. We see both of those things happening. That means the market has slowed down, right? And that context is appropriate because when someone says something has slowed down or it's moving quickly, what does that mean? To who? It's always something different. So it's something I'm going to keep a very close eye on. I do anticipate that this is going to be a very slow month for all the reasons that we just talked about. And that is going to, again, even though we've been trending around that 1.75 average where we should be, we're trending upward. So we'll see how high we go. Now, this is the fun part. So mortgage rates, again, have gotten a little bit crazy. Everybody expected once the Federal Reserve cut rates, even though I've tried to be very clear on this. Number one, mortgage rates are not tied to the prime rate that the Fed can control. And number two, when they do something to that prime rate as a result, it doesn't always have an impact, let alone the one that you would think moving in the same direction on mortgage rates. So we saw the Fed cut by 50 basis points, and we saw mortgage rates creep up a quarter point. Now, with that said, the Federal Reserve is expected to still cut rates possibly 1 to 2 more times this year. I think that the 50 basis point cut was too much, too fast. If they continue the cuts, I think that we are at risk of seeing inflation get out of control again. So I really hope they don't, right? Again, we are where we are. The Ocean City market has been very stable for the last 2 years. It's been, I'll say, fairly predictable for the most part for the past 2 years. A lot of people are waiting for the shoe to drop, right? For prices to fall out. I just don't see it happening. So rate wise, if you find a home you like, jump on it. Could there be a chance to refinance down the road? Sure. But again, with the lack of overall inventory that we have and that we see coming to market, if you pass on a home because the mortgage rate is a 0.5% higher than you want it to be, and let's be honest, we all want it to be substantially lower than it is. But you need to do the math on what you're comfortable with. And only you can decide that. And the other side of that coin is how long are you willing to wait for the financial situation to be perfect? And if that financial situation is perfect, is the home that you want going to be out there? Is it still going to be in your price range? I don't know, right? I don't. But I have countless stories of people who took an uncomfortable leap, comfortably uncomfortable, but confident leap into buying a home here, and they're thrilled that they did it. I also have more stories than I would like of people who passed on a home or two or three, and they're still looking, or they've given up because they've missed out. We don't want to see that. And again, nobody needs a second home. It's the catch-22 of Ocean City I talk about all the time with my clients. Yes, you, the buyer, do not need to buy it. Most of the time, the seller doesn't need to sell it, right? So we just have to get that part out of our heads and make the best decision possible for you and your family and what memories you want to build and create here. Inventory wise, I took a close look at this, and number one, we are exactly percentage wise where we were a year ago compared to the start of October and the start of September. Identical increases in inventory. So again, it is like a blueprint that we continue to follow. What happened in 2023? Good chance it happens again in 2024. Now, inventory lined up, but the new listing total didn't. So if we look at the first half of 2023 through June and the first half of 2024, the amount of homes that went under contract, we had about 10% more in 2023 compared to 2024. New listings, we had more in 2023 compared to 2024. Now, over the last 4 months, new listings, we've had more in 2024 than we've had in 2023. And in under contract, we've had slightly more in 2024 compared to 2023. So there are some roller coaster movements, right? There's going to be activity that we can't exactly predict because it comes down to the house. It comes down to every individual family making a decision. Collectively, yes, that's the market. So we're going to be able to generally predict what's going to happen, but every month there's going to be some nuance. There's going to be some context. There's going to be some tweaks and things that maybe we didn't see coming. And my goal is to bring that to you and talk you through it and give you confidence in making a decision one way or the other. Again, as much as I would love for everybody to buy a home here, I also know that that is not possible. I also know that it's not right for everybody to own a second home, whether it's fear of maintenance, again, let alone just the cost all over the place. That's utilities. That's not just your mortgage. That's not just the taxes. It's not cheap to own a second home anywhere, let alone in Ocean City, one of the top resort destinations in the country. So with that said, again, finding the right deal is often what it takes for people to make that leap. Finding a good value. Everybody needs to feel good about the decision. That goes on both sides, whether you're selling or buying, or else nothing happens. Right? I saw something a little bit funny. I'm not going to make this about me for more than maybe 10 seconds. That my job, our job as real estate agents, is actually very difficult. It's to make one of the most illiquid assets out there into a liquid market, right? And here in Ocean City, we're selling on average $1.1 million homes, every 30 to 50 days. That's how long it takes to sell that. That is not easily done in many other asset classes. Again, stocks are one thing, but I digress. I enjoy what I do. I'm glad that I've been able to help the people that I've helped, and I'm looking forward to helping more people this fall. Again, we have one great deal closing this month, more to come soon. So if you haven't already, again, I'm going to be posting Best Buys videos out there routinely. So make sure you do subscribe if you're not already. And we're going to continue to follow this thing. So I will leave you with this. I do expect the rest of this year to essentially mirror what we saw in 2023. We can look at new listings and say we're going to see fewer. We can look at total pending. We're going to say we will see likely fewer than we have seen recently. Generally predictable. This is where everybody tends to go to sleep, turn their attention off of Ocean City as it starts to get cold. Today is a very windy day. It's warm because of the sun, depending on where you're walking, right? If you're on the boardwalk, it is mostly blocked wind. So it's actually a very enjoyable walk. But if you're going east to west up any of those side streets, it's going to be chilly. So if you have any questions, again, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Reach out any of the ways you see in the description. And if you have questions, you have any comments, drop them in the comments below. Happy to engage with you there as well. So thanks as always for hanging out, and I will see you next time.